Torah guardian, speaking the absolute truth. Torah nation.
Shalom, 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 Yashar'El and Yahuah, grafted in Gentiles into the body of Hamashiach. Listen, you are a chosen people. Now, we understand that Yashar'El was his people. We're listening to none other than Hezekiah, incidentally, the prophet. His song is entitled Amos chapter 3, 1 through 2. Yahuah is doing all of this. He's bringing the destruction of Babylon and the other nations because of this. A people that he has chosen. Yahuah, in the name of Yahushua Hamashiach, I pray right now that you would, by your Ruach HaKodesh, which you have put in my belly, which you said shall flow rivers of living water. These signs shall follow them that believe. These signs, this evidence, these testimonies of the witness shall follow those who believe. Yahuah, I'm asking you by the Ruach HaKodesh that you have given me to take the reins of my lips and the reins of my tongue and reign. Yahuah, I need you to speak by your Ruach in the authority, the dunamos, the exousia that only you possess. Yahuah. Yahuah, I yield to you in your Ruach HaKodesh. Yahuah, allow me not to cause anyone to stumble, anyone to be turned out of the way, anyone to come up lame, Yahuah. In the name of Yahushua Mashiach, allow the words that come forth from me to be a lamp unto their feet, a light unto their pathway, that it would establish them in this witness. You call me to cry loud and to spare not, to lift up my voice like a trumpet and Zion, to declare to your people that they must be born again of the water and the Ruach HaKodesh. Declare to your people they must be bearers of the witness, the Ruach HaKodesh, the water and the blood to be yours. They must be born again of the Ruach HaKodesh, baptized with the Ruach, your Ruach. Yahuah, I pray in the name of Yahushua Mashiach that your word will come forth in spirit and life, Yahuah, in power. In the name of Yahushua Mashiach, let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, Yahuah. In the name of Yahushua HaMashiach, I give you praise. Listen. Listen, we going back. We gonna listen to this again, right? Listen. You understand, right? And to those who don't have a clue, those who just believe that things are just happening just because, right? I want you to know today, right? I want you to know today that Yahuah is by his Ruach HaKodesh demonstrating his power, right, over these wicked nations because of what they did to his people, right? Yaakov, his firstborn, right? The judgment is here because of what has been done to his people. Now you understand that if you know Torah, right? You know that Yahuah has established from beginning a people. That's his doing. He chose Yashar'El and Yahuah from all the other nations to be a people, a firstborn, right? His baby, right? He gave them a Torah. He did not give the other nations a Torah. He said, say it again. He gave them a Torah. He didn't give the other nations a Torah. He gave them righteous commandments to govern their lives, to govern their conduct. Right? And all they needed to do was keep his Torah. Walk in obedience. But they didn't. Yahuah put them there to bring them before the other nations in the hopes of having the other nations recognize the superiority of the Yahuah they served, to identify with his majesty, to come along and be a part and have a part of an inheritance. But instead of the nation being his representatives, they recanted. They turned from Yahuah and they turned to other else. And you know, these nations, they knew the power of Yahuah. The world knew Yahuah, and they knew his power and his authority and how Yahuah moves in the midst of his people as they walk in obedience. Do this. Yahuah put these nations that he drove out of the land, he allowed some of these nations to continue, right? To be a snare. Because see, Yahuah is going to have true worshipers. He's going to have those who are going to remember the laws, the statutes, and commandments, and do them. He's going to have somebody. He's going to have a remnant. He's going to hold true to Torah. But see, our ancestors, right, turned their back on Yahuah. They offered sacrifices unto strange elves. They introduced these elves into the land that was Yahuah's, to the city of Yahuah, to the temple of Yahuah. And because of this, they fell into judgment. But see, these nations can't escape because they conspired to forward the affliction. They knew that if they kept the nation in wickedness, then they would maintain their perpetual authority and dominion over the nation. They knew they would try to. Listen. Psalms 83 and 1. Keep not thou silent, O Yahuah. Right? Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Elohiym. Why? What? For thine enemies have made a tumult. They that hate thee have lifted up the head. Arrogant. I get you. Right? They have taken crafty counsel. Right? Against the people of Yahuah. Right? And they've consulted against thine hidden ones. Right? They have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation. That the name The only people that Yahuah have known. The only people that Yahuah had established a covenant with. The only people whom Yahuah had loved. You only have I known. You only have I been intimately acquainted with. They said, let us cut them off from being a nation that the name of Yashar'El, right, may be no more. And remember, now listen, right? You can't find no real history of the nations and its movements, right? No real documentary, no real information in reference to the kingdoms of Yashar'El. Right? Because they wanted to remove them from history. They wanted to cut them off from being a people. They wanted them to separate from their heritage. To cut them off from being a nation would be to make them Gentiles. To make them heathens, right? To get them to turn away from Yahuah's Torah, Yahuah's law, statutes, and commandments. They wanted to cut them off, and they were successful to an extent. But see, in this whole thing, they have failed to realize that Yahuah has always had a remnant that was going to perpetually carry forth his name. He always had someone to bring truth to the nation. They wanted to cut them off, right? Now he's saying, look, this is prophecy. Look at these people want to remove you. Remove the people that you have chosen. Remove the people that you have identified as your own. Listen, make no mistake about it, right? Yashar'El in Yahudah is Yahuah's reason for bringing judgment, right? But Yahuah is coming for those who have received the witness of Yashar'El and the other nations. Right? Yahuah is not going to suffer that remnant who have received the witness. Right? He's not going to suffer that remnant that have received the witness to suffer wrath. You've only have I known. Listen. For they have consulted together with one consent, they have become confederate. This is why Babylon's fallen. Hear the word of Yahuah, Babylon is falling because of the destruction, the willful destruction and the destroying of his people. Yahuah. You have to understand this. Let's look at Ezra. Or let's look at Amos. Amos, the 3rd chapter, beginning at the 1st verse. Right? You better be born again. Water and Ruach HaKodesh, because you know judgment is going to come. Listen, and if you haven't been paying attention to what's happening around the world, listen. Russia is on the brink of going to war with the United States because of the United States attempt to establish these missiles on the borders, looking to deploy some troops. Peacekeepers, they say peacekeepers, right? But they don't understand what Putin has. One wrong move. One wrong move. Right, one wrong move. One dirty bomb. One. And we have this illusion. It's a Hollywood illusion, right? Hollywood promotes the United States military as superior to all. Can fight on any front, right? Can endure a long war, right? They got missiles. The Russians got missiles. Russia got them sonic missiles. They move so fast you can't even shoot them down. Listen, this United States of America, its leaders are driving this nation on the brink of war. Are you sealed? Right? Do you bear the witness of Yahushua in the earth? Do you have his Ruach HaKodesh? Have you been cleansed by the water, and has your blood been, have you been made purified from your sins through the blood? Has it atoned for you? Are you sealed? And even listen, man, the use of nuclear weapons, right, does not guarantee the annihilation of everyone and everybody. That's why in the scriptures, you still have one to a city, two in the fields, one in the city. That's why you have that. He's apocalypto movies. Hollywood setting you up. Because Hasatan feeds them. Demons feed them. Are you sealed? Do you realize the times that we're in? Or so are you so caught up in TikTok, Snapchat, or Twitter, or Instagram, or Facebook, right? Are you so caught up in TV and movies? Has Hasatan lulled you to sleep? Are you sealed? Right? Because, things can change in a moment, in a second. But see, unless you have Yahuah sealed, unless you have his Ruach HaKodesh, right? Unless you sealed, right? And make no mistake about it, the seal comes with the witness. The seal comes with power and delegated authority. The seal comes with demonstration. Are you sealed? Excuse me. Are you sealed? Ezra 3:1. Hear this word that Yahuah has spoken. Right? You have spoken a word. Right? Against you. He's speaking of Yashar'El. Right? Right? O ye children of Yashar'El, against the whole family which I brought up out of the land of Mitsrayim. And this is what I said. Right? You only have I known. Right? Of all the families of the earth. You only have I known. Israel. See, this Babylonian judgment, this Mitsrayim judgment, this destruction that's coming upon the world is because Yisrael is the family that he's only known. This is not to diminish the other nations and they're being grafted in. But listen, you didn't have anything to do with this. This suffering. The suffering of a people. Listen. Don't get me wrong. I love my Gentiles. I love the nation. And I love the mixed multitude. I love the strangers. But this judgment is coming because of what they have done to Yahuah's people. He's only known Israel. Listen. Listen. Right. Yahuah says in Jubilees, right? They call it a lesser Genesis. Come on, whatever. It's all Torah. There's no lesser or greater. Right? All they do is they say those things to put a value on the validity of it. Right? It's of less value because it's Jubilees. Right? It's of less value to them. It's the lesser Genesis. Right? But it's lesser because verse 20, second chapter, and he said unto us, behold, I will separate unto myself a people from among all the people. See, this wasn't in Genesis, right? This wasn't in Genesis, not like it is here, right? So the misconception is that this book is of less value, right, than Genesis. It's not to be held in high regards. It's a lesson. Lies! Lies, all lies. Lies, all lies. You is revealing the sevenfold doctrine of creation. He's just revealing. He's revealing it. He's showing it. He's exposing. Right. See, this right here, they kept from you. They kept this from you. They kept this from the other nations. They controlled the flow of information. They manipulated it. In their transliterations, they changed things, right? But he says here, and he said unto us, behold, I will separate unto myself a people from among all the people. Right? He says, and these shall guard my Shabbat, and I will sanctify them unto myself as my people, and will bless them. Yashar'El. That's Yaakov. Right? See now, as the other nations, you can't allow yourself to become offended at the fact that Yahuah has selected this ruddy people. He has selected these brown, these brown people, these ruddy people to be his own. And Ham cannot get angry, right? Japhet cannot get angry. Shem, apart from Avraham and Yaakov, cannot get offended, right? Because Yahuah has, by design, created a people who was to demonstrate by keeping Torah and bring the value of its obedience to the earth, which brought Yahuwah's protection, because he chose them. Right. Now, it says, and he said unto us, behold, I will separate unto myself a people from among the people, and these shall guard my Shabbat. These shall guard my Shabbat. Now, they were to do it as Yahuah and the angels of the presence, right? He says, and this great sign of the Shabbat, that we should work 6 days, but guard the Shabbat on the 7th day from all works. And all the angels of the presence and all the angels of the sanctification, these two great classes, he had bidden us to guard the Shabbat with him and the Shamayim and on the Eretz. You only have I known. Listen, understand. Nicole, she was firstborn. Now listen. My eye pointed something out to me that was so beautiful, but it was so simplistic. Right? We were yours firstborn. But you know, there's always, when there's the recognition of a first, right? There's always third, fourth, fifth, and sixth born, right? But the firstborn, right? He's generally the inheritor of all the richness of the blessings. You know, listen, the firstborn issue was by design to be the recipients of the inheritance. See, you only have I known. But you, through Yahushua Mashiach, right, who became the only begotten, He was the only one that was of the seed of you. The physical word, Torah seed that found a place in the womb of Mary. And make no mistake, Mary was just a house. Her womb was just a house. Yahuah planted everything that was necessary in her womb. She just was there to facilitate it. He was the son of you. He's the firstborn of, he's the only begotten. He's the only begotten, right? But through him, to as many as received this witness, to them he gave the right to be the sons and daughters of Elohiym. Even them that had emunah in his name. You only have I know. See, it's these people that Yahuah has known from the foundations of the Orets, whom he has given his Shabbats along with the angels of the presence and the angels of the sanctification, and Yahuah himself, which he has honored. These only were his chosen to do what they did. You know, that's why even in the original covenant, right? After Yahuah gave Torah, there were certain things that the strangers weren't allowed to do. Oh, they could serve Yahuah. Certain things that they could do, they could serve Yahuah, but certain things they couldn't do because they didn't have the right of the firstborn. See, Yahuah is a merciful Elohiym. Yahuah is a merciful Elohiym. Yahuah is a merciful Elohiym. Yahuah will receive and bless all those who would come to him and receive him in emunah, right? He would allow them to be a part, but there was limitations of what they could do. In the Torah, there's limitations of what they could do because they weren't Yahuah's firstborn. He didn't give the Shabbat to them. He didn't give them the rest. He gave it to Yashar'El. See, and this is why judgment is coming to the Orets, because Yahuah has had enough of what they've done to his people. His righteous seed. Now, there is a judgment, right? Because that's an animal, right? But let me get that. I'm gonna get to that. Listen. So here we have. He says, and he said unto us, behold, I will separate unto myself a people from among all the people, and these shall guard my Shabbat, and I will sanctify them unto myself as my people. I will do it. Ain't nobody be my people unless I do it. Excuse me. No one could be born again unless Yahuah made it possible for them to be born again and to be grafted in. Nobody could do it. They could not do it on their own. You just could not walk up and be Israel or be his people. You just could not do it. It's not something that was done. You only have I know Israel. He says, behold, I will separate unto myself a people from among all the people, from among all the other nations, from all the other nations, from the Japhetic nations, right? From the Hamite nations, right? And from Shem. Because not all Shem is the people of Yahuah. Those that he has chosen are Yaakov. Jacob have I loved, Esau have I hated. Right? Esau sold his birthright for a bowl of red pottage. He sold his birthright. You wouldn't know him. He knew Yaakov, who held onto the heel of Esau. Even Shem has a lineage of people that Yahuah has not known. You better hear the word of you. Yahuah has only known Yaakov. This they did not want you to know. This is why they designated it a lesser Genesis. Right? To devalue the context of it. To devalue the content of it. Yahuah loves everybody. Yahuah loves everybody. Yahuah wants every. Listen. Yahuah chose Yaakov out of all the other nations to keep his Torah. He didn't call the other nations to keep his Torah. Right? Therefore, Yahuah had no feelings for the other nations. You only have I known. He says here, and I will sanctify them unto myself as my people, and will bless them. And I will sanctify the Shabbat as I do sanctify it unto myself, even so will I bless them, and they shall be my people, and I will be their Elohiym. You only have I known. Israel. Listen. That's why things are advancing the way that they are. Because we are the people that he has known. We are his firstborn. Now listen. It doesn't change the fact that the firstborn's got to be born again of the water and the Ruach HaKodesh in order to escape this judgment. Right? And it doesn't negate the fact that the other nations that received this witness are his second and third born. Whatever. It doesn't matter. They're born again. They in this. But this is popped off because of us. Yahuah sent Yahusha to his own. Yahuah sent Yahusha unto his own. Yahushua Hamashiach himself said, I've come for the lost sheep of Yashar'El. I come to gather the lost sheep of Yashar'El. Those who will hear my voice. Those that hear the voice of me, their shepherd. They have I known. They are who the Father sends me. Right? And these, right, make up the remnant. These make up those whom Yahuah is gathering. This judgment is because of how they treated his people. Spanish Inquisition, the papal bulls, the edicts, this perpetual slavery, from Arabs, Shemites. Israel, you only have I known. See, because the real Arabs descend from Shem. Ishmael. Jacob have I loved, Esau have I hated. Isaac. Ishmael. Ishmael was of the seed of Elohiym, but he was not the chosen seed. He was Shem. The slave trade. Arabs. Right? Slave trade. Ashkenaz. Slave traders. Right? All because of our sin. Our disobedience. These things came upon us, but see, Yahuah is a recompense. His law declares that whatever man sows, that shall he reap. It's in the earth. It's a Torah. It can't be changed. What you've done to his people can't be changed. Seed time, harvest. Whatever you plant grows up. They've been diabolical to you as people throughout time. France, Belgium, the Dutch, the British, right, Arabs, right, the Americas, which is British, which is the Queen, who actually owns the title deed to America. They all have to pay. Because Yahuah is a just recompense. He honors his word. It's seed time and harvest. Nah. See, Yahuah, prophetically, see, Yahuah knows the beginning. He knows the end from the beginning. He knows the end, right, in the beginning. See, Yahuah knew that his people would turn to him. He knew that one day I would come to myself in this time. And that I would obey his Torah. And I would declare his Torah. I would receive this witness. And then I would go in the strength of the Ruach HaKodesh to declare this witness to his people. He knew that I would do this, but he just don't got just me. It's like he had Amos. It's like he had Hosea. Just like he had everybody else. He always got someone he knows that he's going to raise up. Someone that's going to believe him at his word. Someone who's going to know that his word is the absolute truth. Someone's going to know that the word of Yahuah is truth. John 17:17. That word is truth. Yahuah has a people that he has to recompense. Yahuah has to execute justice. They can say what they want. They can call it global warming. They can say it's because of Putin. They can say it's because of China. They can say it's because of Iran. No. It's Yahuwah's justice. Yahuwah's justice is coming to this nation. You know, they could say, you know, it's President Biden's driving into the ground. They said it was Trump driving into the ground. The fact is, it's Yahuwah that's going to drive into the ground. It's Yahuwah that's going to pound it like powder. Listen. You better escape the judgment. You better escape the judgment. You better escape the judgment. You better be on the end of justice. Yashar'El, this is for you. This is for you. But you better be on the side of justice. You better be in the witness of Yahushua Mashiach. You better have been born again of the water and of the Ruach HaKodesh. You better be in this witness. And the other nations, listen. My Gentile brothers, listen. You better warn them. You better warn them. You better warn these other nations. You better warn these people. Because the judgment of Yahuwah is coming. Right? Yahuwah's judgment is for these other nations. Right? His judgment is for these other nations. You only have I known. His judgment is for these other nations. He says here, I have chosen the seed of Yaakov from among all that I have seen, and have written him down as my firstborn son, and have sanctified him unto myself forever and ever. Yahuwah has sanctified us forever. Right? Our suffering, right, from our disobedience is because he sanctified us and we didn't live up to that process. He set us apart, but we didn't do what we were supposed to do. We gave into these other nations, whimsical gods, the whimsical deities. And again, you know, there's ruachs attached to these, right? They're ruachs. But you know what? They all bow to Yahuwah because he created it all. You only have I known. Yisrael. Listen. He said, I have chosen the seed of Yaakov from among all them that I have seen, and have written him down as my firstborn, and have sanctified him unto myself forever and ever, and I will teach them the Shabbat, that they may guard the Shabbat thereon from all work. And thus he created therein a sign, accordance with which they should guard the Shabbat with us. See, the Shabbat is a sacred thing for Yashar'El. The Shabbat is supposed to be guarded just like it is by the angels of the presence and the angels of the sanctification in the Shamayim. And again, you know, you could get caught up on the days, but, you know, The Catholic Church moved it to Sunday. From Saturday. They moved it to the day of the sun. So, you know, I'm just going to bank on this. It's before that day. Because all they needed to do was move it one day. They didn't need to move it a week. They didn't need to move it that way. All they needed to do was shift it a day. Just one day. Shift it one day. And set us in a place where we were in a perpetual state of disobedience. Because we didn't recognize. You only have I known. See, they did not want you to. They didn't want you to hear this. They didn't want you to see this. They didn't want this manifested to you. They didn't. They want you. They want to cast shade on this. They want to cast shade on this. They want you to not believe that this is as important as Genesis. They want you to be left with the idea that it's something lesser. You only have I known. Yaakov. Right? He says here, and thus he created therein a sign in accordance with which they should guard the Shabbat with us on the seventh day, to eat and to drink, and to bless him who has created all things as he has blessed and sanctified unto himself a peculiar people. So peculiar that the other nations want to be like you. So peculiar, they want to wear their hair like yours. I remember back in the day, I was going to the barbershop to get fades. Haircuts and fades. Right? Growing afros. Right? Getting fades. Skilled craftsmen. Barbers were. Right? Right? Culture. Right? Identity. Right? Now everybody gets fades. These other nations, man, they get their cuts and they get their fades. They get their designs. You're peculiar. They want to be like you. They hate you. They want to be like you. They want to dance like you. They want to play music like you. They want to sing like you. They want to do everything like you. Right? Right? Because you're peculiar people. Right? Your genetic, your DNA makeup is superior. I know that's going to make some people mad of the other nations, right? But it's okay, though. I still love you. But you can't deny the facts. You can't deny the facts. There's a reason why we're the only people that he's known. Right? There's a reason why we go through such pain and are yet so resilient. Peculiar people. You know, yeah, we lock our hair up. Our hair is made for this. Right? Our hair grows to the sun. It's alive. Our melanin works synergistically with the sun. We ain't made to be in buildings all day. Got other nations. You got these other nations walking around with locks, matting their hair. Why? You only have I known. Listen, this judgment is coming because of us. And because of what these wicked nations has done to us. They want to deflect. They want to put it off on everything and anything. Right? They do. Oh, it's global warming. No, it's Yahuah's judgment. Yahuah said he's going to send plagues and pestilence and natural disasters, and it's in the text. But they don't ever want to tell you it's in the text. No. They want to contribute it to global warming. Yeah, Yahuah is heating up things. It's called him being fed up, right? He says here, he says, to eat and to drink and to bless him who has created all things as he was blessed, and sanctified unto him a peculiar people above all people, right? A peculiar people above all people, and that they should guard his Shabbat together with us. You only have I know. You only have I know. Right? Yahuah says, that as the people, right, we have an obligation. We to live up to. Amos 3 and 2. You only have I known of all the families, of all the tribes, of all the nations in the erect. See, now, we just read it in Jubilees. The so-called lesser, right, does not carry as much strength. Lies! It doesn't carry as much authority as Genesis. And you know this. You got Hebrews teaching that. And we ain't putting no emphasis on Jubilee. What? Because they don't have confidence in the word, the Ruach word of Jubilees. But you have the same confidence in Genesis. But they were both written books. See, what it is that colonization. It's that Constantine Catholic influence. It's that whole idea of canonized. Yeah. Just like Ezra. Just like Maccabees. Listen. He says, who can walk together except they agree? Right? He's talking to Yashar'El. I've chosen you. I've chosen you. But who can walk together except they agree? Right? You have to agree that I am your Yahuah. You have to agree that my Torah is all you need. You have to agree that all you need is me. Right? But you didn't. He says, I will roar like a lion in the forest when he having no prey. I'm going to make a noise. Right? Will a young lion cry out of his den if he have taken nothing? Right? Can a bird fall in a snare upon the earth? Right? Where no gin is for him? Right? Shall one take up a snare from the earth and have taken nothing at all? I see, Yashar'El, listen. How can we walk together except we agree? The nation. He said, listen. Shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in the city, and Yahuah have not done it? Right? Surely Yahuah will do nothing, but he revealeth his secrets unto his servants and prophets. Yahuah is going to reveal to his servants and his prophets. You need to be born again of the water and the Ruach HaKodesh. You need to be established in this witness. You need to be born again of the water and of the Ruach HaKodesh. You need to be established in this witness. The lion haveth roared. Who will not fear? See the words going out. The verdict is judgment to the nations. It's not your judgment, Yashar'El. It's not your judgment, Yahudah. The judgment has come to these nations because of their wicked diabolicalness to you. This judgment, this destruction is not for you. It's for these other nations. And it's not for those that are of the other nations that have accepted the witness of Yahushua Mashiach. No, they're going to escape. They'll escape the judgment. Because they recognize the witness of Yahushua Mashiach. They become born again of the water and of the Ruach HaKodesh. Right? They established in this witness. Right? But see, all these other nations that have not accepted this witness are in judgment. And Yashar'El and Yahudah, this judgment is not intended for you, but you will experience this judgment as long as you hold on to Babylon. As long as you convince yourself that you don't need to be born again. As long as you convince yourself that you don't need to have this witness. He says, the lion hath roared, who will hear it? And Yahuah have spoken, who can prophesy? Who can but prophesy? Right? Who can do this? That man who is set apart. That woman who has the witness of the Ruach HaKodesh. Right? Because you are called to be witnesses. The Ruach HaKodesh is that witness in the arets, along with the water and the blood. It is that sign that follows you by the power, by the demonstration. It's that witness that causes you to cause others to cry and say, men and brethren, what must we do to escape this wrath? I'm just crying loud. I'm sparing not. There's nothing new in reference to this word that Yahuah gives me. At the end of the day, it's still, you got to be born again of the water of the Ruach HaKodesh. Yisrael, you've only have he known. You his firstborn. He said, publish it in the places, in the palaces. Amos 3:9. Publish it in the palaces of Ashtaroth, and the palaces in the lands of Mitsrayim, and say, assemble yourselves unto the mount of Samaria, and behold, a great tumult is in the midst. And this is when Yahuah was pronouncing the judgment to the nation of Israel because of their disobedience, right? But it's also a testament to us, right? Yahuah is going to bring justice, right? He's going to bring justice to the other nations, right? Right? And listen, right? Let's skip down. He says in that 12th verse, thus saith Yahuah, as a shepherd taketh out, as he taketh out of the mouth of the lion 2 legs, or a piece of an ear, so shall the children of Israel be taken out that dwelt in Samaria, in the corners of a bed in Damascus on a couch. He says, hear ye the testimony of the house of Jacob, saith Yahuah Elohiym, the Elohiym of hosts. Right? He says, in the day that I shall visit their transgressions upon Israel, upon him will I also visit the altar of Bethel, and the horns of the altars shall be cut off, fall from the ground. That's not exactly what I was looking for. Where was it at? He was speaking of the shepherds and how they seek only to feed themselves and not feed the people. They don't want to cry loud and spare not. They want to tell them the things that are smooth, comfortable. They don't want to tell them they're the people of Yashar'El. They don't want to tell them they're Hebrews. They don't want to do that. They don't want to tell them that they're the people of Yahuah. Yisrael, you've only have I known. Listen. Yahuah says in Jubilees, the 1st chapter, the 14th verse. As a matter of fact, hold on. Where do I want to go here? Where do I want to go? Let me start the 14th verse. And I will hide my face from them, and I will deliver them into the hands of the other nations for captivity and for prey and for devouring, and I will remove from them the midst of the land, and I will scatter them amongst the other nations, and they will forget all my Torah and my commandments and all my judgments, and will stray from my new moons, my Shavuots, my feasts, my jubilees, my ordinances. And after that, and after this, they will turn. Why? And he said, behold, I will separate unto myself a people from among all the people, and these shall guard my Shabbat, and I will sanctify them unto myself as my people, and I will bless them, and I have sanctified the Shabbat, so do I sanctify it unto myself, even so will I bless them, and they shall be my people, and I shall be their Elohiym, and I have chosen the seed of Yaakov from among all that I have seen, and I have written them down as my firstborn son, and have sanctified them unto myself forever and ever. You only have I known. But you see, you got to understand. if you don't turn, you're going to be destroyed just like Babylon. Just like these wicked nations. And just like these wicked nations destroyed Yahuah's land, his people, destroyed the temple, Yahuah is going to destroy you and these lands and these pagan churches and temples, these Christian churches and temples, these synagogues, right? Just like he destroyed Jerusalem and the nation that lost their lives, that were destroyed in the siege, right? You are going to be destroyed in the midst of these other nations. Your only way out is to be sealed. Your only way of escape is this witness. See, he says here, he says, and after this they will turn to me from amongst the other nations with all their hearts and with all their souls and with all their strength. And I will gather them from amongst all the other nations, and they will seek me so that I shall be found of them, when they seek me with their whole hearts, and with all their souls. And I will disclose to them abundant peace and righteousness. Listen, you got to be born again in the water of Ruach HaKodesh. You got to be born again in the water of Ruach HaKodesh. He says, and I will disclose to them abounding peace and righteousness. I will remove them the plant of righteousness. Now the plant of righteousness is taken from the everlasting plant of righteousness. You gotta be born again. You gotta be born again. He says, and with all my heart and with all my soul, and they shall be for a blessing and not for a curse, and they shall be the head and not the tail. See, because we've turned, Yahuah has a just recompense. He can render justice on our behalf because we've turned. Right? Listen. He goes on to say in that 21st verse, he says, and after this they will turn to me in all uprightness and with all their hearts. Why? Because they're going to have godly sorrow that worketh repentance. And Yahuah is going to see their sincerity. And he is going to allow the blood of Yahushua Mashiach to atone, thereby giving you a new heart and replacing that stony heart of flesh and giving you a heart of flesh. Right? It's a new heart. Right? A new heart. Now listen. He says, And after this, they will turn to me in all uprightness, and with all their hearts, and with all soul, and I will circumcise the foreskin of their hearts. I'm going to do this. You only have I known Yashar'El. Because, see, he's providing the circumcision through Yahushua HaMashiach because Yahushua HaMashiach came to his own. He told that Gentile woman, he said, listen, right? It's Canaanite. He said, woman, what have I to do to you? Do with you? I've come for the lost sheep of Yashar'El. I don't have nothing to do with you. You only have I known. Yeah, but you know what? This is the determination of the other nations, the Gentiles. Yeah, Yahuah, I know that I'm a dog, Yahushua. But you know, even the dogs need crumbs. Falls from the master's table. Ooh. It's yours. Your daughter is healed. See, Israel can touch the hem of his garment. Can be made whole. Yahushua came to his own. Signs follow. Demonstration, power. Evidence of the Ruach HaKodesh in him. Yet, you gotta turn. They didn't turn, all of them. As many did. The remnant that always emerges. In every age, there's a remnant that always emerges, and that remnant helps to facilitate the emerging of the following nations and generations. You only have I known. Listen, he says, and the foreskins of their hearts, of their seed, their children. And I will create in them a new Ruach. I have created them a new Ruach HaKodesh. Actually, it doesn't even say new. He says, I will create a Ruach HaKodesh in them. Because it was never there. And it ain't new because it's been around forever. Yahuah just poured it on those whom he chose to give it to. But see, he's making it available to everyone, still whom he's chosen, but everyone who receives the witness of Yahushua Mashiach. Right? Everyone who received the witness of Yahushua Mashiach, to them, he gave power. The Ruach HaKodesh. The seal. To be his sons. Right? He says, listen. I will create in them a Ruach HaKodesh. And I will cleanse them from all. I will cleanse them so that they shall not turn away from me from that day until eternity. I ain't turning away from you. And you know what? From the day that I received the Ruach HaKodesh, Yahuah never turned away from me. You know, and I was in Christianity. It wasn't Christianity to me. It wasn't like Christianity. I mean, I didn't really see it as Christianity until, you know, I started going to a Methodist, pre-Methodist college, Christian college, and, you know, then it was like, what? started studying New Testament and Old Testament and all of that man-made theory and philosophy. I remember asking the professor. Me and the professors get arguments all the time. I said, listen, what about the Ruach HaKodesh? He used to hate his name. What was his name? Mr. Little dude. Bald hair, bald head glasses. He used to get arguments with me, right? But he used to really like me. I know. I used to go to his office. And, hey, how you doing? He said, what you want here, Walker? So, man, I just came to say hello, man. What's going on? He was one of those professors, man. He was some religion and philosophy professors. But I had his respect. And I know I had his respect. I had his respect, right? I knew I had his respect, right? One time, a girl that I was dating at the time, right? She went into the classroom, and she was in, I think it's his Old Testament class, right? And he came into the class, and I think he said something like, "Hey, black girl over there, have a seat." Right? So, because it's a Christian college, but these other nations, man, this is an old man, old man. He's an older dude. He was in his 70s, 60s, 70s then, right? Older guy. Right? She told me, she said, you know what he said to me? I said, oh, no, he didn't. He said, yeah. I said, come on, let's go. So I said, hey, Prof. He said, hey, he's there a while. What do you want, Walker? I said, I can't move it. So listen. I said, you offended her. And she has a name. And granted, you may have a lot of people in your class, she has a name. To refer to her as a black girl. He apologized right there. So, I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm sorry. I shouldn't. So, yeah, I ain't gonna hold it against you. Yeah. She was a beautiful soul. Man. Yeah, she was. Yeah, she was. And I had to defend her. I couldn't let that go. Because that's righteousness. Right? I couldn't let that go. But he respected me even more then. Yeah. One time I did this prank, right? It was prank day. It was professor student prank day. So I went to his office, right, that day. I'm like, hey, professor, how you doing? Da, 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 da. Good. Okay, good. Right? And I purposely unlocked the window. Unlocked it, right? So that night, I came back up, right? And I pranked his office, man. I unrolled like 3 rolls of toilet tissue. I took his books out, but I didn't take them out so that he couldn't put them back, because I wouldn't be evil. But I took them out, and I did all kinds of stuff like that. So the next day, right, I go back to class. I go back to his office. Right, next day, I'm like, hey, Prof. He says, hey, Walker, you're not going to believe what happened, man. So what's that? He said, man, look what they did in my office. He was laughing, because I don't know if anybody ever done that to him before. Right? But I'm like, oh, man. I said, you want me to help you put it away? He said, no, I'm good. I can put it away. He was laughing. He said, I can't believe he did this to me. I said, well, it's just a prank, He said, yeah, I know. Yeah. But listen, At the end of the day, it's about righteousness. It's about being born again. It's about having Yahuwah's Ruach HaKodesh. It's about having a heart after him. Right? You only have he known, Yashar'El. You have an obligation to live for him. You got an obligation to live for him. To obey his law, statutes, and commandments. This is for you. He's bringing judgment to the earth because of you. He's bringing judgment to the earth because of you, because you turned. Not the Gentiles, because you turned. He says here, and after this, they will turn to me. Who? Yashar'El and Yahudah. Turn. Because we've turned. You was turning this captivity. Right? Listen, make no mistake about it. This ain't my home. This ain't my home. Listen, I have no desire to remain here like that. This is not my home. You know, just like other nations have their lands, right? We have ours. And just like they can travel back to their own lands, right? We have our own. You only have I known, Yisrael. Listen. They will turn to me in all uprightness and with all their hearts, with all their souls. I will circumcise their hearts. I'll circumcise the foreskins of their hearts and the foreskins of their seed. You will circumcise my heart. And my prayer is that he would circumcise my kids' heart. Because he said he would. He would circumcise their heart. He says, and I will create in them a Ruach HaKodesh. And I will cleanse them so that they shall not turn away from me from that day until eternity. That's why Shaul said, listen. When he was speaking to them in Hebrews, I think it's the 10th chapter, he said, listen, what you doing? We can't continue in sin, right? Because once Yahuwah has put his Ruach HaKodesh in us, we've tasted of the heavenly gift, right? Right? The intentions of Yahuwah is for us never to go back. There's nothing left. There's nothing waiting for us except a fiery judgment to be gathered up and burned. You only have he known, Yisrael. Listen, he who is bringing judgment in the Eretz because he's known you. Ain't no mistake about it. You his firstborn, right? But you have to be born again. Make no mistake about it. The Gentiles, right? They have to be made alive too. Because they dead in sin. They served other elves. Even those that grow up Christianity, they served other elves. They haven't served the Yahuah. Unless they foresee the Ruach HaKodesh, like Yahuah gave me. But I was in a Baptist church, and I was filled with the Ruach HaKodesh, and they don't even talk about no Ruach HaKodesh in the Baptist church. Being filled with the Holy Spirit, they was talking about cutting the step, doing the jig, right, doing the dance, right. And I do believe that our culture is rooted in the dance and the feet stomping, right. That ain't the Ruach HaKodesh. That's your emotional release. The Ruach HaKodesh has evidence. Signs follow. Right? And the thing is that, if you grew up in that Baptist way, and you are in the witness now, you got to be careful. Because you bring that thought and that process of thinking over into this, and it's not that. Yahuah wanted me to share with you today Yashar'El and Yahudah. You only have he known. And this judgment is coming. It's because of you. Because you have turned. Because you have confessed your sins. Because he has circumcised your heart. Because he has put in you his Ruach HaKodesh. Right? And because you cry unto him from a pure heart. He's bringing the pain. He's bringing the pain. Right? He says here, and I will create in them a Ruach HaKodesh, and I will cleanse them so that they shall not turn away from me from that day until eternity. And then listen, you only have he known. Right? You only have he known. He says, and I have chosen the seed of Yaakov from among all that I have seen, and have written him down as my firstborn son, and have sanctified him unto myself forever and ever. And I will teach them the Shabbat, that they may guard the Shabbat wherein from all work. And thus he created therein a sign in accordance with which they should guard the Shabbat with us on the seventh day, and to eat and to drink and to bless him who has created all things, as he hath blessed and sanctified unto himself a peculiar people above all people. You only have he known. That's why the Gentiles have to make sure that they don't boast against the branches. That's why Shaul said, listen, don't get to thinking all of a sudden now, you better than the nation. Right? Because Yahuah was firstborn. Right? Yahuah cut some of them off so that you could be grafted in. I love you. Grafted in Gentiles, I love you. Yahuah loves you. This judgment has come as a result of your ancestors and their diabolicalness. Right? And Yahuah has provided you a way of escape. He's giving you an opportunity to be a born again. And to give you a right to be born. Not again, because you weren't his firstborn in that sense. But you had to be made alive to. You had to be born again to. Because you were dead in your trespasses and sins. You walked according to the course of this world. Among whom also you had your matter of conversation. Your lust, it drove you. So did Yashar'El. Make no mistake about it. This judgment is coming because we've turned. We've turned. Man of Yah, woman of Yah, we're going to stop there. This was just something Yahuah gave me today. You know? Wanted you to know that he loves you. You only have he known. Despite what you have been told, despite what they've tried to convince you of, there's too much evidence to point to you being his people. Too much evidence points to you being his people. He says, and their souls shall cleave to me and to all my commandments, and they will fulfill my commandments, and I will be their father, their Abba, and they shall be my key, my children. And they all shall be called children of the living Elohiym. Everyone who receives the witness. They all. And every angel and every ruach shall know. They shall be known that these are my children, and that I am their Abba in uprightness and righteousness, and that I love them, and do you right. And then he tells do you right now what I've said. Okay, so Yahuah, I give you praise for your word. I give you praise for your word. I thank you for your love for the nation of Yashar'El and Yahudah. I thank you, Yahuah, for our turning to you through Yahushua HaMashiach's witness, being born again of the water and of the Ruach HaKodesh, and being the witness in the earth with the Ruach HaKodesh, the water and the blood. Yahuah, I thank you for the other nations that you have extended a right to be grafted in as wild olive branches by the Ruach of Yahuah in the witness of Yahushua HaMashiach, that they as well are born again, that they as well have been born again of the Ruach HaKodesh. Yahuah, they too have a right to this. Yahuah, I praise you. I thank you for bringing judgment. I thank you because Babylon is fallen. Make no mistake about it, Babylon is falling. But it's because we only, you have known. I give you praise. Yahuah, let this word go forth and be a blessing to those who have an ear to hear. Yahuah, may those who hear it use this word to be a blessing to someone else. To open up someone else's eyes and ears to see. Yahuah, I pray this. In the name of Yahushua HaMashiach, let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, Yahuah, my strength and my redeemer. Man of Yah, called to greatness. Woman of Yahuah, called to greatness. Woman of Yahuah, beautifully and wonderfully made. Listen, today Yahuah's favored you. To the nation of Yashar'El and Yahudah, you only have he known. They will try to convince you otherwise, but you only have he known. But you must be born again. in order to escape the judgment that he's bringing on these nations, in order to escape the judgment that's coming on this world. Make no mistake, it's going to be mass destruction. Mass destruction. But listen, you only have enough. Man of Yah, called to greatness. Woman of Yahuah, called to greatness, beautifully and wonderfully made. Today, Yahuah's favored you. Walk in this favor and be blessed. With that, I say, shalom, shalom, shalom. Blessings.
Torah guardian, speaking the absolute truth. Torah nation.